Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Got some running video here of my new Redcat Gen 9 that I picked up recently. Great sale going on with these things. I picked this up for $269. So had a Gen 8 in the past, really liked it, ended up selling it to fund some other projects, and I've always kind of missed it. I think they're a really good crawler. You know, they're maybe not the absolute best in quality of plastic and materials, but they really have a good design, some nice long travel suspension, and they just work really well. So I've always enjoyed driving the Gen 8, so I figured let me pick up the Gen 9. It definitely has some advantages I've noticed right off the bat. Approach and departure angle with the shorter body, especially on the rear. It's just way better than the Gen 8. The Gen 8 just drags its bumpers, you know, quite a bit more than this design. So pretty happy with it in that respect. You see here that it's probably good that both my mirrors were broken off already, because it wouldn't have fit through there with the mirrors. That's one thing they definitely dropped the ball on with the Gen 9, is having the rigid mirrors. The Gen 8 mirrors were much better. They folded, they kind of rotated around, and never had an issue with those breaking off. One was broken off in the box, and the other one broke off the first drive. So you'll see here a couple other different things, mainly the wheel and tire size. So this is a class 1 size tire. It's a 4.19. It's on a 1.9 wheel, just a stamped steel beadlock wheel, and I just did that because I wanted this to be more scale. And I wanted to set it up as kind of like a class 1 legal. If I do go and enter a comp with any of my other crawlers, I would have this where I could run like a class 1 category and just have fun with it. But I really like the scale looks of it, and I just wanted something different, a different driving experience, and really happy with it. These are the Voodoo KLRs, 4.19s, and they hook up pretty well. I wouldn't say they're the grippiest tire. The compound is a little bit stiff. They work well, but it definitely makes it more of a scale driving experience too, where you will get some tire slip, and that's why I have to punch it up obstacles like this. You'll see, but it kind of makes it a little bit more like driving a real vehicle, where you're not, you know, any real full-size truck is not going to have this crazy soft sticky rubber that we use on crawlers these days. But that being said, it doesn't always need to be 100% scale. You know, I probably would try a different tire next time. You know, I'll run these for now, but I would probably lean more toward like a J Concepts green compound tire. I think they work really well in my area, at least. So, but another thing I have recently done since filming this video is changed over to a dual stage foam. And I'll do some more testing and post up another video if you guys are curious how much better an improvement that makes. But I found some of these cheapy Endura dual stage foams that are too small for a normal size 1.9 tire actually fit these really well. They're a little bit wide, so I had to trim them down. But so yeah, my next video I'm gonna get out and run those and try, because you'll see, especially like here on this kind of slab rock side hilling, the tires are folding over so badly. It's like the wheels are almost hitting the ground. And you'll see coming back down this that it really is noticeable, both front and rear, mainly the front, and really losing a ton of steering just by having those tires just flopping around like that. These just have the stock foams in them. So I think switching over to a dual stage would be perfect. 3D printed, they do make them, you know, for the 1.9, so that would be the ultimate level. But yeah, I didn't want to. This was kind of like a budget truck. I didn't want to go and spend a ton of money on this. So these dual stages that I got from Endura were like, I don't know, $13 on Amazon. So I'm gonna give them a try and see how they work. This truck is running a Hobby Wing. This truck is running a Hobby Wing Fusion Pro 2300 kV. The 2300 it's a lot of fun. You'll see later on in this video where I kind of rip it back and forth through this rocky section, and this is a fast truck. You put this thing in high gear. I haven't hooked up my GNSS to it or anything. I don't know the exact speed, but I'm guessing it's easily over 20 miles an hour. in high gear. It's really fast. It's too fast. If you want to keep this body in decent shape, it's actually too fast. But it is fun to hit little rocks and roots and jump this thing. I don't know. You know, it's just it's a fun. It makes the truck more fun. I'm glad they did the 2-speed. That's another thing I like over the Gen 8. I think a 2-speed on a trail truck just makes a lot of sense. Even just for certain obstacles, you get that little bit extra wheel speed. Helps you get up and over them sometimes. And with this Fusion in here, it has so much power and torque. It can easily pull that taller gearing. But the 2300 is definitely a bit much. I would recommend, if you guys are buying a Fusion, I mean, if you go with the Pro, I'm 99% sure the only one they sell right now is the 2300. But I would go with an 18. I'd say, you know, pick up the SE and go with an 18 in this, and it would be more than fine if you want to have a little bit of like bashing high speed fun. You know, if you want ultimate level crawling, the 1200 would be fine, because you do still have that high gear. But even in low gear, even with the 2300, this thing crawls incredibly controlled and smooth. So the gearing is not a huge factor. It's just how much of a range you want and how much high speed you want. Here, so I do also have front portal weight covers, brass, but I didn't add any weight to the rear. So you can see this is where it will kind of suffer. I think I'm going to go ahead and throw some on the rear just to make this a little more capable descending and keep it more planted. That's the other benefit of the dual stage foams I just installed. They do add 55. They're really heavy. Like the inner part is actually like a harder like rubber, but they add like 55 grams per wheel. So that should really keep this thing planted. And I am also still playing around with suspension. I added some, not in this video, but the next video you'll see I added some little stretchy hair bands to each shock just to keep it kind of sucked down. And hopefully that kind of helps with, you can see just how much the suspension is just extending, which is fine going through rocks, but when you're on these really steep obstacles, it just unloads so much. This does have very long travel suspension. I feel like with these smaller wheels and with the smaller tires, they are standard size wheels, but the smaller tires, you could get away with a shorter shock and it would just sit a little bit lower. But I kind of like the articulation on a trail truck, so I just went with these stretchy hair bands, and it should help keep it planted. But I gotta say, even these tires are not the great. They're really good. They're not. I wouldn't say they're great, and I haven't done too much to this truck, and it kind of surprises me once in a while with what it can do. Here's an example of just, you know, that's just a little punch from a short distance in high gear, and it just kind of launches. It's pretty fun. But this truck definitely pulled off some lines that I was like, let me just attempt it. There's no way it's going to do it. Like, this is one of them. This area has some really steep rock faces, and for a truck that's it's pretty well stocked. You know, it's a $270 crawler right now on sale anyway. And I just did like some Amazon brass up front. The portalway covers were like $20-something, and you know, I'm sure that the Fusion is helping in some ways, but I'm positive even the stock, you know, motor and ESC would be fine on this terrain. But here I realize how much these tires like wheel speed. They tend to grip certain tires. It's funny, certain compounds, when you get higher wheel speed and they slip a little more, you completely lose traction. And other compounds, you almost, the added friction of just the wheel spinning really helps it. And I think that's the case with these tires. So definitely need to kind of punch it up some obstacles. But yeah, overall, very impressed with this. It's just like my Gen 8 was. Just, it surprises me. It's better. It's always better than I think it will be. And that's that just makes a fun crawler to me, is when you go out and you're just, it's not frustrating in any way. Like, yeah, it has its limitations because it has full-size bumpers, a full-size body. It's sitting pretty low with these small tires on it. But no issues, really. It's always fun. You could always find really good lines. And if you work at something long enough, a lot of the times you can really figure out a way to get up. So I think with a little more tuning, It's gonna continue to get better. I just ordered the light kit for it, so I'm gonna add some more scale accessories. I'll probably throw like a driver figure in there and a couple little interior details just to make it look even cooler. But here you can see how fast this is, and that's not even like, I can't really hold it full throttle in here. I didn't want to wreck the thing, because yeah, if you crash at these speeds, I don't know how well this body's gonna hold up, and it's a really nice looking body, so I don't want to destroy it. You can see there the rear wheel coming up again, so I think some portal weights on the rear are probably a good idea. I haven't really weighed corner weight on this yet. It's got a front weight bias, especially removing the ESC and going with the Fusion helps with that. I am just running a 2200 battery in here, not in the battery tray. I have it mounted on the inner slider, just Velcro down on the opposite side. And with the 2200, there's another cool jump. I mean, it got some distance there, that, you know, and again, that's not even top speed. But with the 2200, this entire video, I mean, I was out for well over an hour crawling, and you see how much I'm blasting around in high gear, and I still came back with, I think, close to 20% of the battery life. So my recommendation, I know a lot of guys just go out and throw the biggest battery they can in their crawler because they want to go out and do a long trail run, but pick up 2 little 2200 packs. The truck's going to perform better because it's lighter. You can put them in more areas in the truck to kind of help balance out the weight and keep the weight low. And they're cheaper, they're quicker to charge. There's a lot of benefits. You can use them in other crawlers that maybe don't have the room for a giant pack. So I'm a big proponent of running a smaller battery and just have multiple ones and throw an extra one in your pocket. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for this. I will have another video coming up shortly as I progress with the mods on this. And yeah, so stay tuned. I have a couple other projects I'm working on at the moment. I picked up a axial bomber in a trade, so you'll see some videos on that coming up soon. I know that's kind of an older discontinued model, but should be fun. Anyway, guys, later. Thanks for checking it out, and I'll catch you in the next video.